If you own a manual BRZ FRS 86 GT86, chances are you're going to have issues with the first to second change when the gearbox and the vehicle's cold. Pretty much guaranteed, really. There's a lot on forums about this issue. Very common. So if you have the issue, you're not on your Pat Malone. So what's causing it? Most likely issues with the synchros on first and second gear. When the gearbox is cold, they're not aligning the gears when you're changing from first to second, so the change into second gear isn't smooth, so you get some resistance and occasionally some grinding. So what can you do to alleviate it? I don't know that there's anything you can do to solve it that isn't going to cost you a lot of money. So in terms of alleviating it, you really need to make sure that or try and ensure that your gearbox is warm. The issue is these gearboxes probably take about 15-20 minutes to get up to full temperature, and that's if you're living in a fairly warm climate like Australia. If you're in somewhere where it gets very cold and snows, it's going to take a lot longer to get temperature into the gearbox so you can get smoother shifts. There's a few things you can do to alleviate it. What I do is when I'm in first gear, taking off, going into second, I will pause for a very short time and then take it into second gear when it's cold. I find that works. If you're very handy on the pedals, you can double clutch. So we're in first gear, we take off, clutch in, pop into neutral, clutch out, clutch back in again, and then slip into second gear. I'm not skilled enough to do that, so what I do is I will change like that, so it's not a direct pull into second gear. I'll just pop it out of first, hold it for a very short time, and then into second gear. Occasionally, if I feel too much resistance in doing that, then I will double declutch, but it's very slow for me, so it's not ideal, so I'll pop it out. If I feel resistance, I'll let the clutch out while it's in neutral and then pop it into second gear. Once the car's warmed up, I don't have any issues with that change or any other changes through the gearbox. If you're still having issues with changing gear from first to second in particular, after the car's been running for a good half an hour, then you've probably got other issues that need to be looked at more carefully. Some things that I've done to alleviate my issue, like my car when I bought it, I had 15,000 kilometers on it, and I had that issue with that tight change from first to second when it was cold. So I've tried different gearbox oil. So I've gone to a Penrite, and I've also used their additive shift ease. I found that improved things. I'll probably try other oils as well. Like people have had success with Pentacin, particularly in the US, but I don't think the formulation that they've been using that alleviated the problems available anymore. They've changed the formula of that. Other people recommend Redline, Motul. In Australia, people have had success with Newlon as well, and I think they've got an additive, gearbox additive there. I think it's G20, I think it's called, that they've added as well, and found that that's improved things. My shift from first to second, it took a long time when I first bought the car to be able to successfully and smoothly change between first and second. So the change of oil helped. I've also put in MTech shift springs in the gearbox. I've got a Whiteline positive shift kit, and I've also put in the Perrin rear mount for the shifter mechanism, and that's all helped as well. Maybe it's a placebo effect, but I certainly think or feel that it takes a lot less time now for me to be able to successfully get a first to second change whilst on the move now than what it did when I first got the car. So yeah, so they're the things that you can try. I guess the advantages of going with the mods that I've put in with the shifter springs and those mounts is I've got a more direct shift action. It's, you know, like they say, rifle bolt like, I guess. It's a lot better than what it was stock, less sloppy, more direct feeling, and certainly for my taste a lot better than what it was before. If you're in Australia, there's a guy in Sydney that makes two versions of the shifter springs. There's one that's fairly close to the MTech in terms of resistance, and he also makes a stiffer spring as well. So if you're in Australia, jump on Facebook and find the 86 and BRZ forums, and you should be able to get onto that guy fairly quickly. Definitely mods that I recommend doing for the shift action in these cars. Like the gearbox is very good. Once it's hot, the issue with the first to second change, or any other changes for that matter, should go away, and it's by no means anything that should stop you from buying a manual version. It's just one of the idiosyncrasies of these cars that a lot of them do have that issue in changing from first to second gear. But yeah, they're the sort of things that I've done to alleviate it. I haven't solved the problem. You know, I still take time to warm the car up before, you know, changing quickly between first and second gear, mainly because you can't really, because you just get that initial resistance in trying to pull it into second gear that stops you changing in there, and if you rush it, you will grind the gears. So yeah, if anyone's got any other things that they've tried to alleviate the problem, feel free to post in the comments. But yeah, it's yeah, hopefully something that might help someone. Yeah, so try those mods, try different oils, and until your gearbox is warmed up, just be careful with your shifting. Double the clutch, or just pause between gears to allow, I guess, it allows the synchros to catch up, I guess, and allows you to slot that second gear in. Okay, thanks for watching.